back to Obscure Gaming, a segment in which I advocate 10-year-olds dropping out of school to go become Pokemon trainers. Because I'm a fantastic role model. Speaking of Pokemon trainers, though, in today's title, you don't play as one. See, I thought it would be fun to do another Pokemon-themed video, because, well, I did that Gaming Mysteries like a week ago that was Pokemon-themed, and I'm doing another Pokemon-themed Gaming Mysteries in a week or so in the future, so why not? I'm so wacky and spontaneous. For today on Obscure Gaming, we're talking about a little bootleg for the Genesis by the name of Pocket Monsters. Now, I suppose it's worth noting that there's a version of this game for the SNES that's just as bootleg-tastic, but it seems to be the same thing, based on me just seeing footage of the first level. Granted, it has different sound effects and a different HUD and music, but besides that, it seems to be the same. So, yeah. The more you know. So now let's talk about the story of this game, because it's a doozy. Now, as you can see by this opening cutscene, the story to Pocket Monsters is, it's very, you got Ash throwing a Pokeball there, and oh, there's Pikachu, and then you start the game with Ash's face, and I don't know why, and now you control Pikachu, who apparently can no longer contain his bloodlust as he wants to kill everyone and collect crystals. As you can see, it's basically just like an episode of the hit anime, though it's missing Misty and Brock and his weird non-opening eyes. I still don't understand that! But, yeah, in all actuality, there is no story, which is a shame because Pocket Monsters usually have such good stories that involve giving 10-year-olds extremely dangerous animals capable of destroying cities. You know, stuff the whole family can enjoy, even Grandma. But since the game doesn't really have a story, I'll just move on to the gameplay. Now, Pocket Monsters is a platformer-style game. You'll control Pikachu in a variety of stages, all the while collecting crystals, boxes of electricity, and killing things, and some of those things are actually Pokemon. But not all of them. The game controls simply enough. As Pikachu, you can move around, left or right, very groundbreaking stuff, and you can even jump. I know, it blew my mind as well. Using these sophisticated tools is your only way of making your way through the stages, though moving isn't your only option, because Pikachu can also use an electric attack. It's like I'm playing a real Pokemon game. Your main tool of destruction will be jumping on enemies' heads, which will cause them to explode. It's your typical wholesome platformer trait, but the game even has boss fights in which you fight giant Pokemon like Pinsir, Snorlax, Onix, this thing. Is this a Pokemon? I honestly don't know. Maybe it's from a later generation, but my knowledge of generations 3 and up is a tad limited, and I'm working on getting caught up, but I've just been really sidetracked with Skyrim and Dead Rising 2 and Pokemon Red, and then I started playing Rogue Galaxy again for some reason, but that's not the point. The thing is, that doesn't look like a Pokemon. Yeah. Now, overall, the game controls pretty alright, to be honest. I mean, it's a little iffy here and there, what with me falling through platforms occasionally and getting lost, and the controls just feeling weird occasionally, but besides that, there's nothing super wrong with how the game plays, and I'm impressed by that. I mean, usually bootleg games play like, well, for lack of a better word, shit. So I was pleasantly surprised. On the downside, though, the game is really hard. I mean, I died a lot, and it doesn't matter where you die in a stage since there are no checkpoints, you just kind of start right from the beginning of the stage again, which is a little irritating, though the game kind of makes up for it by basically giving you an infinite number of lives, so thank you, game. But yes, overall the gameplay is alright, so let's talk about the presentation, because that's what I always do. Now, graphically, the game doesn't look amazing, but not terrible. All the characters anime and look decent enough. Keep in mind, this is a bootleg, it could be worse. It's cool that some actual Pokemon are in the game, and it's even cooler that a lot of the boss fights have you fighting giant Pokemon, and they look cool. But there are some enemies I'm just not that familiar with, like Monkey Thing, who throws apples, and Big-Eyed Lizard Pokemon, not to mention stupid Dragon Thing. Again, maybe I missed something in the later generations, though something tells me I didn't, and that these are all just bullshit and fake. Now, the backgrounds, on the other hand, are a little bland, and I'm not entirely sure what locales they're supposed to represent, but yeah, they're okay, I guess. On the sound side of things, though, this just fucking throws me off. The music is at best okay-ish, and at worst, really annoying. And it fucking loops. I'd play some of it to give you guys an example, but the audio got screwed on the recording, so you guys lucked out. But you can, if you want to, find raw gameplay online, and by online I mean YouTube, which is online, so there you go, and listen for yourself, and It might not sound bad at first, but after you hear it looped like 20 times, you should feel the same pain that I did. As for sound effects, Pikachu actually sounds pretty good. They have some nice sounding voice clips of the little rodent, so I appreciate that. As for everything else, no. No. The game is like a weird noise machine. The title is constantly making odd exploding noises and boings. Some enemies sound like they're going to puke when you jump on their head, and others sound like a gunshot. Oh, and there's this one enemy that just says, uh-oh, when you kill him. And it sounds kind of dumb and out of place, yet somehow hilarious. But overall, I guess the presentation is bleh. All in all, Pocket Monsters for the Genesis isn't the worst bootleg I've seen. It certainly has its high points, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't have a little fun with it. So if you're interested, I'd say track it down and give it a try. If you can tolerate the music and difficulty and weird shit, you may have some fun with it for maybe 30 minutes or something like that. In any case, this has been Obscure Gaming. Thanks for watching.